What's up, everybody? My name is Kenneth, and I am a foreigner living in the Philippines, here today to react and learn to how the Philippines survived a shocking coup attempt. This video was recommended by Ron Strom Gaming, so thank you very much, Ron, for yet another recommendation. It looks very interesting to me because I have no idea what this is referring to. I don't know about any coup in Filipino history. So I thought I'd sit down, watch this video with you guys, and react and learn together with some of you. So yeah, guys, if you have any other videos you want me to react to, then please let me know in the comments and I'll check it out. And if I end up reacting to it, then I'll give you credit, of course. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get into this video and check this out. Let's go.
In 1983, the rule of Ferdinand Marcos was crumbling. He had ruled the Philippines for decades, but the people started to turn against him. Ninoy Aquino was a prominent opposition leader who lived in...
Really? Ninoy Aquino? Isn't that the name of the airport in Manila? It was named after this guy? I had no idea. I've been there many times. I had no idea it was named after him. I'm guessing it's named after him, unless there's another Ninoy Aquino. I've never heard that name though, it's very unique. Only heard that in Manila airport. I didn't know that.
Exile in the United States. When he returned to the Philippines, he was shot dead upon arrival.
Wow.
This was to many the final straw.
He was shot by the regime, the dictator at that time. So I guess that's why they named the airport after him, like to commemorate him. That makes sense.
People resisted and ultimately overthrew Marcos. He fled to Hawaii, and later that same year, elections were held. But the results were particularly painful to Marcos' supporters. The wife of his nemesis became the new president.
Really? Oh wow, I had no idea this was the wife. I understand now the last name, Aquino, I see it. But actually I knew that she took over or became president at some time. But I had no idea that was actually the wife of Ninoy Aquino, who the airport is named after. Wow.
Corazon Aquino won the elections and was sworn in as the 11th president of the Philippines.
Wow.
In the subsequent years, there were multiple attempts to overthrow her administration, but none as serious as in December 1989.
What? So it wasn't. That's why it says coup attempt. I'm guessing it didn't succeed. But I have no idea about this. This is actually really interesting.
This is the week that democracy almost ended in the Philippines. With hindsight.
Philippine rebels invade army base and finance area. So was this like military leaders, like generals, came together to plot to remove her? Wow. Mutineers ignored demand by Aquino that they give up US role assailed.
Right. The first years of democracy were tough, as they often are.
Right, yeah.
Many people in high positions still supported Marcos, or they were opposed to the rapid changes that Aquino was making to their country. In '86, she became the nation's president.
So this lady basically started the democracy in the Philippines. It was a dictatorship actually, and then when she took over, she turned it into a democracy, and some people were against that. But the modern day democracy, it wouldn't happen because of her, without her, I mean. So that's really interesting.
And within a year, the Philippines had adopted a completely new constitution.
Wow.
It was modeled on the United States. The power of government is divided between a Senate, a House of Representatives, an independent judiciary, and is led by a president who has a limited time in office. This constitution in its fundamental form is still used in the Philippines today.
Wow, so she really laid the groundworks for everything in modern day Philippines. It's really interesting. I wonder if that was her husband's intention also. Like, why was he killed? Like, what beliefs did he hold? And is he generally viewed as a good person? Or like, what's for you guys, Filipinos, like what's your opinion of these two people? I'd like to know.
And many regard Aquino as the Philippines' mother of democracy.
Ah, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, basically. That makes sense. I see that.
But in those first decisive years, she also faced a lot of criticism. Her governance was said to be weak and scattered, and certain high-level supporters of Marcos started plotting against her.
Huh.
There were multiple attempted coups in the first 2 years.
Wow.
Every couple of months, an attempt was made.
Wow. Insane. How did she and the government defeat these coups? Like, how did they do that?
Often by a few high-level figures in the government and the military that hoped for the return of Marcos. But only one came close to succeeding.
Wow.
It started on November 29th. Late at night, a team of scout rangers destroyed a communication station of the armed forces, a day earlier than planned. But despite this false start, rebels in hiding throughout the metropolitan area heard this signal and began their coordinated attacks.
Wow.
The government was in high alert. The next day, the rebels gained their first successes. They attacked the Biamor air base and managed to enter the highly secured area. They neutralized the helicopter wing and all of its assets. They sealed off the commanding jet.
This is really well planned. Like, I wonder who was behind this. This is like very professional.
General of the Philippine Air Force on the third floor of the building. The base was now under rebel control.
Wow.
They surrounded and secured the Army Operations Center and occupied the 1st Scout Ranger Regiment to the north of Manila. The rebels were making frightening, fast progress.
Yeah, this seems scary.
On December 1st, Corazon Aquino was supposed to be overthrown. There were large-scale operations throughout the city and country taking place at the same time. Rebels took control of the domestic and international terminal of the city's main airport.
Wow. Wait. Now I get it. Is that why they called it Nino Aquino? Because the airport was their target? Like, main target? That makes sense. Is that why?
They barricaded runways to render them useless.
Wow.
Those same rebels later moved towards Manila Bay but ran into a roadblock. The blockading military unit refused to join the rebels, and a firefight ensued.
Wow. A firefight in the middle of Manila in 1989. That's not that long ago, right? Wow.
At the general headquarters of the Philippine military, the logistics command sided with the rebels. They occupied the Joint Operations Center and were confronted by other forces that sided with the government. Other rebels that occupied the Biamor air base proceeded, and with little resistance managed to occupy 2 television stations, one of which was government controlled, and it made it more difficult for them to communicate to the people.
Right. And also they can kind of like act like they're the government. Maybe, I don't know if they did that, but they could like broadcast that they're the new government and there's nothing the real government can do to stop that.
The North and South Harbor were then also overpowered by...
Yeah, I wonder how they lost this, because this seems pretty unwinnable. I mean, how they have every like strategic position building in Manila. So how do you take this back without, blowing the entire city up like World War II? Like, how do you... Seems like they control all of Manila.
Rebel forces, and in the south of the Philippines, a commander took control of the influential Mactan air base and then sided with the rebels.
Wow.
The rebels were gaining the upper hand and now had strategic military assets under their control. But what they were after was the presidential palace.
Yeah.
This final blow had to be delivered from the air. Shortly after midnight, rebels managed to take control of Sangley Point. They took over the government's air assets. isolated commanders, and controlled the flight line. Once the airbase was under their control, they loaded 3 airplanes with bombs and guns, and they took off. They dropped the first bombs on the presidential palace.
They bombed the presidential palace? Why? That's like terrorism, basically. Are they trying to kill the president? Is that the goal? I think there's easier ways that don't involve, blowing up your own capital city.
And then continued and shot at the government troops around the television station.
Wow.
They then bombed the headquarters of the military and the police, causing it to burn to the ground. The rebel airplanes took off at 6:25 a.m. and they continued bombing until 10 a.m. But around 1 p.m., government airplanes took off to bomb Sangli Air Base. They destroyed the rebel aircrafts and their fuel dump.
Okay, good. So finally the government responded. It took a while though. I wonder what took so long. It's like many hours after the first attack. Then you send up fighters or bombers to intercept and stop them. I wonder why, there wasn't fighters to stop them half an hour after they took off, right?
And this was a major turning point.
Yeah.
That same evening, government troops advanced on Sangli Point and managed to get it back in control. On December 2nd, early in the morning, the government reclaimed the North and the South Harbor.
Okay. But how? It's not really telling us how. Was there a firefight? Did they just surrender? What happened?
At the rebel stronghold at the national headquarters of the army, rebels began abandoning their positions. They loaded up with heavy weapons and moved into the Makati business district, where they secured a heavily fortified rebel stronghold. The TV stations, after a 2-hour battle, fell back into government
2-hour battle. Probably really damaged that area, right?
Hands. At Mactan Air Base in the south of the country, fighter pilots had joined forces and managed to escape. The rebel general was now left in control of the base, but didn't have any pilots to fly his helicopters or airplanes. The general refused to surrender and threatened to blow up all air assets if the government were to attack him. But at the general headquarters of the army, fighting intensified.
If you choose to blow up all the planes instead of surrendering, how can you really say you're pro-Philippines? You're gonna blow up the Philippines planes when you can't really use them anyway. You're kind of lost. It just seems very stupid.
A high general sided with the rebels, but some of his soldiers refused to take his orders. A long night of fighting ensued, and this would last until the next day, when government forces finally gained the upper hand.
I wonder who was behind this, and I'm excited to see what happened to them.
The danger of the coup was swayed off, but rebel forces still had the upper hand in Mactan and in the business area of Manila.
Wow. This is real footage, I think.
The world was watching as the government negotiated with the rebels. On December 7th, the rebels ended their occupation of the business area in Manila.
Very strange. Why would they go into a civilian area? That's also, very strange to me. It seems like they don't have the best interest of the Philippines in mind, if you ask me.
2 days later, rebels in Mactan also formally surrendered, and the attempted coup was over. It is almost...
They surrendered, but they said they were negotiating. Did they come to a compromise, or was there no compromise at all? You have lost, it's over. I wonder what the result was.
Almost become synonymous to talk about the involvement of the United States when discussing this attempted coup, but their role is overstated.
Oh really? The US was involved?
This declassified memo reveals that Aquino asked for US assistance on Friday, November the 30th. They provided air cover to allow Philippine forces to attack. They did not fire a shot and ceased overflights on Saturday morning, on December the 1st.
Okay. So the US government helped Aquino government fight the rebels, but they didn't really do anything.
And according to the official report from the Filipino government, the US only flew over Manila shortly after 2 p.m., more than an hour after the Philippine government had already destroyed the airplanes of the rebels. So the US did not play a crucial role in turning this around. The same report states that the political value of the flights is questionable, but that the immediate effect to the public was one of relief at the thought that the US was firmly on the government's side.
Okay.
But that relief, in hindsight, was a...
Really? I guess maybe her opposition would use that against her, saying she kind of works with the USA and that they are really controlling her. Maybe they said stuff like that. I don't know.
Disaster for Aquino.
And movement towards democracy, we are one with the United States. We look to the United States as the natural leader in this great movement. As I came to power peacefully, so shall I keep it. That is my contract with my people and my commitment to God.
Even her most fanatic supporters saw it as a weakness that she needed to call upon.
She was seen as quite weak, and she was already seen as, he said earlier, the government was seen as quite weak. And then they have this on top of that. I understand the nuance here.
The US for help. During her 6 years in office, there were 9 attempted coups, but none came as frighteningly close as in December '89.
Alright, and that is the end of this video. This was a really good video. It's by hindsight. I'm gonna give this a like. Thank you very much, Ron, for suggesting this. He suggested this a while ago, but I hadn't gone around to reacting to it yet, so it's about time. This is a really, really good video, and you should check out this channel, guys, Hindsight. And as always, if you have any other videos you want me to react to, guys, then let me know in the comments, and I'll check it out. And yeah, guys, I post daily videos, so if you like this video and want to see more like it, then you should subscribe and follow for more. And I'll see you guys in my next video tomorrow. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.